Hello and welcome. I'm on my own. I can't believe it. And I'm trying to not make my face as big as it looks at the ready. I'm on my own. I can't believe it. I've been left high, dry, and handsome this week. So I'm going to battle through because we have got some really great guests coming up for you. My name is Paul Hirons. Hello. And this week, it's the Bengals at the Saints. We are 2-3. The season is once again in the balance. Goodness me. I mean, how's everyone feeling out there? Do drop us a comment. Please do, or else I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get through this on my own. But thankfully, I don't think I'm on my own. Coming to the rescue is my friend and yours, Jamie Rowe. Jamie, hello.
Hello, thank God for that. I was having severe technical difficulties right up until the buzzer, but I think we're good. I think we're going.
Good. No, you're coming through loud and clear. So, thank goodness for that. I put the word out to see if anybody wants to come on. The link is on Twitter and all sorts. So, if you do want to come on and say hello, it is just me and Jamie today. Of course, it clashes with the Man City Liverpool game, but that's no excuse. Come on now. Just explaining. It's another season in the balance game, Jamie, isn't it?
Yes, indeed, and this keeps happening. The Bengals have really tried very hard to lose the games that they've lost, and they've achieved that, I guess.
Yeah. It's still quite early in the season, so I wouldn't say must win. But if we end up 2-4 today, then there's some major work to be done, isn't there? Let's face it.
Yes, indeed. And sorry, my lighting's gone all weird. Yes, indeed. I think 2-4 is going to be a very difficult hole to get out of. Given, there is a run of so-called easy fixtures coming up, but if you lose the easy fixtures, the hard fixtures aren't getting any easier.
No, that's right. And of course, it's the Saints today. Pretty emotional for lots of players who used to play there and used to play at least in Louisiana, and also for the Saints, you've got Hendrickson and Von Bell, of course, Eli Apple, and then you've got the LSU contingent, and one of them is Joe Burrow, and there he is, striding into the Superdome with Jamar Chase's actual championship jersey. Look at that, there's dirt on it and all sorts, so that's pretty incredible, isn't it? But I think he pulled. He can kind of pull off anything, can't he, old Joe boy? I think.
Yeah. And looking at that, you think they're going to be up for it. There's all sorts of storylines going on in this one. I was surprised at the start of the season when they were announcing the fixtures that this one didn't get called up for prime time because there's so much going on with it. And I know the Saints aren't great shakes at the moment. They've got good players, they've got interesting players, but they're not expected to be in and around the mix for that division. But yeah, I'm surprised it's a 6:00 game.
Yeah, I think so. Although, I think when I put out on Twitter that surely this is going to be the Sky game, or it's going to be a CBS main game, or whatever it might be, or even the Sunday night game. People but no one else really. I mean, it's not that big a national storyline. Joe Boy going back to New Orleans, and I guess they were right. It's not. Yeah. It's a huge story for people within our team and our fan base, but not so much. Nationally. I mean, how are you feeling about today? Have you keeping an eye on the actives and inactives?
I really ought. I was so kind of rushed off my feet trying to get things going that I've not. I've neglected my usual task of looking up the inactives, so I'll bring you that right now.
While you do that, while you look for it, you say on your hashtag this week, break the Scott Gibb curse.
Yes.
Scott is is one of our flock. He's a long-time Bengals fan, and every time he goes to a Bengals game, certainly in the States, they lose. So look who is out there this week in New Orleans with our very own Dockers. Dockers is out there at the moment, and there's Scott Gibb, just one Gibb there, and I think you can see Bengals captain in the background there. They've been having a fine old time. I mean, look at this. Bengals captain and Hubei, and we've got Bridget
and Lyle Collins as well.
Bengals Whitney in the background. We've got Sarah Elise. We've got Dockers there, and we've got, as you say, Lyle Collins. I think they were stalking things outside of the hotel. I think Dockers sent over photographs of Jamar Chase, and Jess and Sarah had their photographs taken with Luana Rumu, and something tickled me this morning. I did mention that Bengals Whitney, who I think a lot of people know from the Hubei, the Tigress podcast, the brilliant Tigresses podcast, and I Tom it down, did a bit of a Venn diagram there. Here's what happens if you cross Andrew Dockrell and Bengals Whitney. You get Andrew Whitworth. So
I think Dockers would probably have to, grow another foot taller and probably another 150 pounds heavier to be Andy Witt. But
Whitney doesn't have to do much, I don't think. Yes, anyway, there we go. So it's all brewing up, and let's just explain what's going to happen today. Obviously, it's just me and Jamie, so we're counting on your interaction today. So get those comments coming in. We've already had Darren Wright, who day everybody. It is Sunday. I think we do know that, Darren. But that's thank you for the reminder. I think everybody knows it's going to be a fun game today. One that we can win. It's a very winnable game. But we'll talk about football a bit later because, yes, we've got some live music today, direct from Cincinnati. And that is the extraordinary Freak Bass. Now, I'm looking forward to this very much because he is something else. And I think you're in for a treat. So he's going to be on in about 5 minutes' time, I think. And I can't wait to listen and see him in action. As I say, he really is something. So it is worth sticking around. And then, all being well, we'll have the aforementioned Dockers live from New Orleans, if his connection is stable enough. If you remember back a few weeks ago, we tried to connect with Ben in New York when he was out there, and it didn't quite happen. But I'm hopeful for today because Dockers has not only promised to come on in about half an hour's time, but he's also sent up a backup video as well, which is very sweet of him, just in case the connection is a load of old trash. So that's what we've got coming up. We've also got Moz's beer reviews, and we've got Adam's waiver wire recommendation for all you fantasy team owners out there. And I was absolutely astonished. I completely forgot to play out Adam's video from last week, so apologies to Adam.
Oh no!
And that won't be happening again this week. And if it looks as though I am about to forget, Jamie, please give me a virtual kick under the table, please. But let's talk about today's game a little bit until Mr. Freak Bass arrives. The Saints are depleted, shall we say, aren't they?
Yeah, a lot of injuries there, and they've ended up with Andy Dalton starting at quarterback, which, again, is another Bengals curse that we're going to have to break because we still haven't beaten Andy yet after he left us. So, yeah, happy return again, Andy. You're going to play your little ginger bollocks off against us once again. And yeah, they've got tons of injuries of the Saints. But they've got a lot of spirit to the team. They've got a lot of chutzpah that maybe other teams that we faced didn't have. So we're going to have to be very careful here. And it's easy to say the Bengals shouldn't be complacent, but that has been a thing that has been coming up. There has been far too little from the Bengals to start games, and it looks like they need to have the shock of going 10 points behind for them to even start doing anything. So I'm hoping that's not going to happen this time.
Yeah, there's been a lot of conjecture and discussion and all this and all that about why we start off so slowly. We just thought it was a thing that was happening last season, and it's happening again this season. And again, I mentioned on the podcast, it's the law of averages. The more you can't keep doing that and expect to get away with it, however talented a team you are, and especially a team that's not firing on all cylinders offensively, you can't just keep trying to do that. And we paid for it. We really have. And, each of those games, if we'd lost, if we'd have started those games in anywhere near half decent shape, we would have won those games, I think. You can argue that we weren't playing good enough to win those games, which would be very valid, I think. But certainly the Steelers are so bad this year, and I say that with absolute joy, that, you kind of think that really was a missed opportunity. And then the Cowboys, we didn't play well in that game, but again, came down to the last one. The Baltimore game last week, I mean, we played okay, but
we just took the first quarter off.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I mean, on offense, it was three times in a row that, Baltimore sort of finished doing what they're doing on their drive, score a field goal, whatever. My dad would go through to the kitchen to mess about with some bits in there. He'd come back in 4 minutes and said, "We've already punted." And it's just again and again like that.
Yeah, and again, there's lots of discussion as to why that is. Are the scripted plays just not working? Is it a case of, I don't know, it's just, I mean, it's probably a bit of absolutely everything, so it's going to be very interesting today. Now, should we do the inactives after we've spoken to Mr. Freakbase? Because he is
yes, indeed,
waiting in the wings, and goodness me, he looks ready. And anyway, should we just bring in Freakbase, shall we? This is
massively up for this.
Live, honestly, stick around. He is quite something. He's an amazing performer and a great guy as well. So live from Cincinnati, here's Mr. Freakbase.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on today, Paul.
You're very welcome. Now, I've been calling you in our chats, Mr. Freakbase, Freak, FB.
Freak or Freakbase, either one, whatever feels more natural to you. I get a little bit of both.
Okay. Well, first things first, thank you so much for coming on.
Of course.
We're always keen to get to reinforce our connections with Cincinnati as a city. And the way we like to do that is obviously get fans on and also musicians and whoever wants to come on, basically. Now, you're an extraordinary performer, but just tell us a little bit about you first, Freak. Where are you in Cincinnati? How did you get started with your musical career? I mean, you are not new to this live streaming lark.
No. I mean, I've actually, about the last year, I really dived in head first, and there's a platform called Twitch that some of your viewers may or may not know. It's twitch.tv. My channel is twitch.tv/freakbase, and it's a live streaming and that's all they do. Every social media thing does live streaming nowadays, obviously, but Twitch, that's all they do is just live streaming. And it started off as a gaming platform, and then musicians kind of started gravitating towards it, and it really blew up during the pandemic because everybody was home and off the road. So I just got back a few days ago from San Diego, California, a thing called Twitchcon. They have a big, twice a year, they have a big convention, one in Europe in the spring and one in the States in the fall. And the San Diego one just happened, and it's an amazing platform. I spend a lot of time on there, and you'll stream for, when you go on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, you might be on for, a minute or two or a few minutes, maybe tops. But, on Twitch, you'll be on there for hours and hours. I mean, some of the gamers go 10, 12 hours. I just recently did a 24-hour stream where I streamed 24 hours straight, which Yeah, in theory, it sounded easy because I'm like, hey, I'm in one place, I'm not traveling. But oh my gosh, by about 9 or 10 in the morning, it was crazy. But the really cool thing is I noticed I've never streamed that late. And from about 4 a.m. till about 11 a.m. ish, Twitch is also very international. So it started kind of spreading out to the UK, Japan, different parts of the world. So it's really, I love it. So it's the closest. And I think I speak for most musicians on there that you feel to playing live because you're constantly interacting with the chat. There's a chat going on my stream. What I do is I create music with all the stuff you see around me, and the people in the chat give me lyric ideas, and I bring that into the lyrics. And we kind of it's almost like we're a band. We're creating music together. So it's a great platform. I really love it a lot.
Wow. So you've got an improvisational kind of vibe going on to the way you work.
Exactly. Yeah. And I still tour, and I'm starting to tour more and more again. That things are starting to pick up again. I was actually over in your parts right at 2019, right before the pandemic. There's a big thing in London called the London Bass Guitar Show that happens that I've done a few years in a row over there, but they haven't started it post-pandemic yet, so I'm crossing my fingers that'll happen again.
Oh, do let us know when you're over again, Freak. There's a pint with your name on it, my friend. There really is.
Oh my God! Well, let me. Can I turn the tables on you for a second? How does someone from the UK get interested in a sports team from Cincinnati, Ohio?
Everyone has their own unique story. Mine is, and I've told it hundreds of times, but it's meeting new school friends about 30 years ago, showing my age really, but and being smitten with Boomer Esiason and James Brooks and all those sort of guys. And of course they got to the Super Bowl, and I felt entirely justified in supporting a team that were pretty good. And then then the 90s happened really, and maybe I didn't feel quite as justified. But once you're in it, you've got to stick with them through thick and thin. And there's been a lot of thin. There's been a bit of thick, but mostly thin. But it's obviously a fun time to be a Bengals fan right now. Jamie, what's your story? Remind Freak of your story.
Yes.
Please. Oh, hey, Freak. Firstly, it's good to see that you survived TwitchCon in San Diego. Hopefully you didn't jump into the foam pit and break your back in several places.
No, that everybody heard about that, huh? That made national news, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a Twitch user anyway, so I'm of a significantly younger generation than Paul, so I know what it's all about. I'm a child of the 90s, so the Bengals were terrible. I kept playing my dad on Madden, and I kept beating him, so I just played as the worst team on the game, and I've ended up being a fan.
Wow, that's wild. Video game got you there. Wow, that's the new world we're in. That's amazing. That's me. Well, Jamie, stop by sometime and give me some Bengals oriented lyric ideas at the Twitch stream, and we'll pull those in.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, Freak, we've got you on to have you to play some music for us. So, and you're been very generous by doing that. So, shall I just let you get on with it, and we'll sort of nod our heads enthusiastically while you play?
That sounds great. All right, I got a couple
Freak
things
bass,
lined up.
take it away, my man.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on, guys, and let's make a little music and see where we go. Here we go. How's that sounding to you guys? Is it loud enough?
That sounded good.
Okay, good.
Coming through.
Perfect. Let me stand up so I can feel like I'm playing real. All right, let's bring a little bit of the chant in here to get everybody knows this one. All right, how's everybody feeling? Everybody ready for this game? New Orleans. We're gonna take it. I got so many friends down in New Orleans, so we got to do this for bragging rights up here in Cincinnati, Ohio.
wanna see you dance. Dance. I 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 wanna see you dance. See you dance. Dance. I wanna 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 see you dance. See you dance. Dance. I wanna 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 see you dance. I wanna see you dance. Bengals today. Who they think gonna beat them Bengals today? Wanna see who they think gonna beat them Bengals.
All right,
Oh,
how
wow.
was that?
That's so good. So good.
I think that's. I'm sort of lost for words, Freak. That was incredible. Thank you so much. I mean, that was a full-blown funk explosion, man. Thank you very much.
Well, I can't thank you so much for having me on, and it's so cool you guys are doing this, and I love the correlation between the UK. Like the UK is one of my favorite places. I've spent a lot of time over there. I love it so much, and I'm just happy you guys have this connection with the city. Have you? Well, before I get off of here, have you been to a game in the last 10 to 15 years, either one of you here in Cincinnati or anywhere in the States?
Yeah.
Paul, do you want to go first? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when was the last time you went, Jamie?
Well, for the last Bengals game, like full stop, was in Atlanta. When they won down there 4 years ago, and Atlanta's a really, really cool city. But I've been to Cincy 3 or 4 times. It's a great city. It's a fantastic city, and I want to go back pretty soon. Paul over there is going in a few weeks, aren't you?
Yeah, 3 weeks time. I'll be there back again. So this will be my 3rd time in the Queen City, so I can't wait. So
now, do each of you know I know obviously you know about the Bengals, I'm sure you know about the Reds, but do you know about the music history here in Cincinnati? Do either one of you know about
Not
that?
too much. That's something I'd like to get into. I'm a big live music fan myself, and love music full stop. So yeah, I mean, I'm eager to learn more. I've been to a few shows out there. There seems to be a lot of stuff going on. So
I can give you Bootsy Collins and the Isley Brothers, and I think that's about the sort of breadth of knowledge that I know of Cincy music.
Well, that's a great start, and of course, I don't know if either one of you know of King Records, which is where James Brown did almost all his hit songs were all recorded here in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so there's a big plaque. There's actually the building they're working on turning it into a museum, almost like Stax in Memphis or that type of thing, and it's on the historical register now, and that's how Bootsy got discovered, because he was obviously from Cincinnati, and James Brown was here recording, and he happened to be just kind of right place, right time, and that's how that all thing started there too as well.
Yeah, I mean, you've just given me another place to go visit when I'm over there, I think.
Yeah, at least get a picture. It's the plaques there. It's King Records. It's really cool. It's not too far from downtown where the game's at. It's not too far from there. It's like maybe 2 or 3 miles away from there. Yeah.
And I see you're a big fan of FC Cincinnati as well, and they did the business last night.
Oh, I'm so excited. I mean, I played, Cincinnati soccer's football, excuse me, has blown up here in the last few years. We have something over here called Say Soccer, which all the kids play in Cincinnati. I played baseball and soccer up until I was about 14 or 15, and when it came back here, it's just and everybody around the city has. So it's the city has embraced the team so much. It was real. The only thing that was weird is I don't know if you all watched any of the game, but so it was in New Jersey. That's where New York Stadium is, and I couldn't believe how many empty seats there were, because I mean, if it was in Cincinnati, I mean, they have a parade before every game here in Cincinnati. It's really turned into this sensation here, and they're pretty good this year too, which always helps. So it's really neat to see that on top of the football and the baseball, which Cincinnati is such a big part of our tradition. It's great having that here now as well too.
Absolutely. Freak, that was amazing, genuinely. I mean, we would love you to come back on maybe nearer towards Christmas if you're available, so we'll keep in touch. And but that was simply fantastic. Thank you so much. And
just say predictions before I get off. You got to give me your predictions. You guys are
I think
hardcore.
we'll win today. I think we're looking at 31-17 Bengals.
Oh, I love that. Jamie, you in the same ballpark?
Yeah, he's actually stolen the score that I was going for there, so I'll notch you up and down a bit. So I'll go with 34-14. I'm still a little bit worried about the Bengals not waking up at the start of games. But that's fine. We'll see how it all boils out.
That's
What
great.
about
That's
you,
great.
Freak? Let's have a Freak prediction.
Oh my goodness. I'll go a little closer, 31-27. Like I'll say it's a little
Okay.
bit closer, yes. So
Okay.
all right. Well, thank you guys so much for having me on. I love what you do. And Hoo Day and go Bengals. Thank you so much.
Who day?
Likewise, Freak, have a great Sunday. Enjoy the game. Thank you very much.
Oh, so good.
I mean, do you want to see my face when he started playing that bass, when he brought in the funky stuff?
You had a proper bass face going on. There you go.
Look at that. I couldn't believe how filthy that bad boy was. Oh, man. Ceiling Cat says, Who Day, this tailgate is funky. I would like to say it's funkier, Ceiling Cat. It's always funky, but not this funky, let's face it. Best musical guest we've ever had, do you think, Jamie?
Oh, yeah. I did love the Elvis impersonator, and we need to have the Elvis impersonator back at some point.
He will be back. Jason Smith says, Go Freak Bass. Paul Byrne, this is the most British reaction to something quite extraordinary. Not the normal type of music to listen to, but finding this enjoyable.
Oh, there you go. I wonder what the normal type of music to listen to is.
Whatever, name 3. Paul just picked the exact same score. I was thinking, let's go. Now, before we get into some stuff, we should be hearing from Dockers live from New Orleans in a few moments' time. But we've got some booze recommendations from our old friend Moz. So here he is.
Moz here with 2 more beer recommendations for you all to try out. Now, these 2 beers I've had recently. One's a lager, one's a New England IPA. I'll start off with the IPA first. This is a beer called Flamingo Duvet Set, coming at 7%. And yeah, it's from Azvex, who are based in Liverpool. It's a former brewer of Neon Raptor. And he's doing a really, really good job on himself up in Liverpool. Yeah, and I had it last week, a really nice, quite peachy number, to be fair. You know, there's a bit of a like grapey, berry-fied, orangey tropicalness with a bit of the peachiness and the grapes and stuff, and really soft, really good drinkability. And yeah, just a really, really good beer, to be honest with you. Price-wise, you're talking around about the £6 range, which is probably about as fair as I won't go with these beer recommendations this year. And yeah, it's a really, really tasty beer. And yeah, if you see any Azvex beers, stouts, New England IPAs, get on. Really good stuff. The second beer I recommend, it's from Geisinger again. This time I'm going for the big boy. It's called Unique, with a Q-U-E at the end. This is a bock, a light bock, which is quite rare, especially one that's actually good. Because obviously most bock just means strong in German, and it's very rare you get a strong, light beer in Germany, because usually dark, and it seems to translate a lot better. But this is an excellent one. Obviously Geisinger, I recommended the Ready Bread one. This is a close. This is neck and neck with that one, I suppose, in terms of quality. Yeah, really. Again, it's quite like the beer I recommended last week. It's got more of a Belgian-esque quality to it, like floral and lemony, but it's really thick and pillowy and just delicious, to be honest with you. Price-wise, I can't quite remember, maybe about the £4.50 range, I'd guess. The availability, I never saw it before, but I was looking for it before, so you might get them online still, but you know, you should be able to get it. And yeah, a very, very strong, I think it's about 6.6%, so it's not a light boy, neither of them are, but yeah, very, very good lager, I must say. And then my 2 beer recommendations. Does my curse of watching the Bengals and us losing every time continue? Who knows? Who bloody knows? Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, have a great Sunday. Plenty of good food, plenty of good beer. Hopefully we go 3-3. Please. not even religious, but bloody hell, come on. We're too good to be crap. I mean, I think we are, aren't we? But we aren't. But yeah, Saints are missing a lot of good players, so we're playing at a good time, and they don't really scare me. So, but it is in New Orleans, isn't it? So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, have a great Sunday. See you on the other side. Cheers.
I've got 3 things on the back of that. First off is I always love Mozzy's monologues that always sort of just teeter on the edge of despair. I like the fact that he recorded that just before popping out to the shops. And also, Flamingo Duvet set does sound like an Arctic Monkeys song.
It does, but it's something that I would drink, I think, just purely for the name. Listen, we're going to go straight to New Orleans because Docus is waiting in the wings, and I don't want to tempt fate because the connection is normally hit or miss. So let's bring Andrew in. Oh,
come on!
It was working.
Oh no! Oh, Dockers. Do you want some Inactives while
I could see his little face waiting, nodding in the, and now it's completely frozen. So, well, let's talk a little bit. I quite fancied that Flamingo Duvet. What was it called? Flamingo Duvet what?
Flamingo Duvet cover, it's a 6% IPA, which sounds like it might need a knife and fork to have, but,
Yeah.
We'll give it a go.
Try that. Is it still freezing? Yes, it is.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, he's gone. He's aware that it's frozen because he's just left the waiting room. So hopefully he'll try again in a few seconds. But we'll see how that works. Yes. So I'm still recovering from Freakbase, to be honest with you. That was extraordinary. Darren Wright says 20 points to 10 Bengals. Paul Burns just hoping for a quick first quarter start.
Oh, same, man, same.
I think we all are. We've identified one of the problems, really, and that's the really just perplexingly slow starts. It's very strange. But, what a great place to play today in that Superdome, indoors. Evan McPherson probably kicking from 70 yards, no problem today. Who knows? And there's a lot of motivation there for Burrow and Chase and Collins and Tyler Shelvin and all the LSU guys, Any news on the inactives? Because apparently T. Higgins is a game time decision.
Yes, and the game time decision is that he is active. We'll see how that translates into actual snaps. There are only 4 inactives this week, which is on the back of some roster jiggery-pokery during the week. That does mean that Tyler Shelvin will be active. The 4 inactives are Cam Taylor-Britt, Travion Williams, Deontay Smith, which the Bengals website has spelled as Deontay Smith, and Jackson Carman, who is getting nowhere near the active game roster right now, and it really looks like it might be over for him.
I mean, you're right. It could be the case that he'll be getting nowhere near any sort of Bengals roster in the future if this season is playing out. It is interesting that Jonah Williams is good to go. He had a good game against the Ravens, but he also dislocated his knee. How in the hell he can play so soon after dislocating a knee, which sounds just about one of the most painful things in the world. That's an extraordinary turnaround, isn't it? Blimey.
Yeah. I mean, America are really good at painkillers, so yeah, you might be on some of the good stuff from the 7-Eleven. But yeah, sit down on a few ibuprofens and kind of just grit through it. I'm very impressed that he's managed to get himself into a situation where he can possibly play today.
Yeah, and it's really good because, as I say, he had a pretty good game against the Ravens last week, I think. And, the offensive line is something that's quite interesting because it does seem to be improving week on week, certainly in pass pro. But last week, the run game got going a bit, or at least much more than it has done in recent weeks, So you hope it's just all going to come together and and they can play a kind of complete game. I saw Alex Kappa making some tremendous blocks. Lael Collins actually stayed on his feet for most of the game, which was rather novel, I thought.
Did you see that trap block that it was either Goodbury or Coach Minnick brought up, but Lael Collins did a trap block on one of the Ravens rushes. It was absolutely gorgeous. Just drew him in and sat him down.
Yeah, and that's what we signed him for. That level of play, really, and extraordinary stuff. So I hope it continues this week. They've got some nice rushers, New Orleans, but they haven't got any superstars apart from what's his name, Cam.
Andy Dalton.
No, apart from Andy Dalton, apart from the anyway, they've got some players I can't remember. And of course, even if their wide receivers are completely missing, which is, I guess, a shame for those guys, they still have Alvin Kamara, don't they? So
yeah.
Who is, I don't know, perhaps past his best, maybe, but he's still a dangerous player. He racked up a lot of yards, total yards last week, and he's still a dangerous player, And so the Saints have got some weapons. So we'll wait and see. I don't think Dockers is going to come back. Do you?
Oh, that's a shame. You should get on. Whenever we talk to the captain, we've never really had trouble. So you should try and tap up the captain's live stream if he's not busy.
Exactly.
Kind of knee deep in Bengals.
Dockers is going to be in Cincinnati next week with Tom McDowell. So
oh boy,
that's trouble for Cincinnati, I think, and the various bars around town and chicken houses. So hold on to your chicken next week, Cincinnati people. But he did, bless him. Dockers had the forethought to record a little video just in case the live stream wasn't sufficient, or at least the connection or the whatever wasn't working properly. So here's Dockers and his little our man in New Orleans, Andrew Dockerell.
What's up, Paul? What's up, Who Day UK? I'm recording this live from New Orleans, and just in case signal doesn't work at the tailgate, I thought to give a few bits and pieces about what's happening this week in New Orleans, and it has been pretty crazy. We got the beads, and we have had some fun. Bourbon Street has been packed with Bengals fans. Been super fun. We bumped into Jess and Bengals captain. We've seen Jim out there, we've seen Sarah Elise, we've seen Bengals Whitney, we've seen Zim, we've seen everyone from the Bengals group out there. It's been super awesome. Bumped into taking a picture with Lael, we've seen Samaje, we've seen Jamar. Awesome to see all the players. Super cool atmosphere out here. Out on the streets, it's probably like 50-60% Bengals fans. It's super, super positive out here. So hoping for the win. The food's been amazing. Amazing chicken, amazing Creole food, jumbo. Jambalaya, we've had shrimp and grits. It's all been awesome. The drinks are super good, if a little expensive with the exchange rate. But loving the atmosphere here. Super excited for the game. I will go for a 27-20 win for the Bengals. Who day to everyone out there. Super excited to be in Cincy next week for the Atlanta game with Tom. Hope everyone at the UK is having fun and enjoys this game. Who day.
Yay.
See, bless him, good old Dockers. Thank you. And it does look as though from the pictures that New Orleans has had a bit of a Bengals invasion, really. And they do travel well, the Bengals fans, don't they? They're a committed bunch over in the States. I'm not quite sure how they afford it all, but fair play to them. Tom McDowell says, which confirms everything I just said, I'm going to drink all of Cincinnati's beer and eat all of their wings.
He's going to turn up at all the players' houses as well.
Yeah. But we can't tell you why. Whatever name 3 says, have any of you ever tried 50 West? No, we haven't, but I'm endeavouring to visit there when I go, and I'm sure Mr. McDowell and Mr. Dockerell will be there, and I think they will want to speak with. It's Optimistic Bobby at 50 West, isn't it? He's the geezer out there, isn't it? I think, is that right? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
I think so. Right, we've got 10 minutes left. If you haven't already given your predictions, do so now. He's trying. Here comes Dockers again. He's trying again. Hold on. He's tried.
Go on.
He's not appeared yet.
Uh,
Okay, I'm going to put him on straight away. No messing before the screen pops up. Andrew, how you doing?
Hello, Dockers. No.
It's gone. But
We saw his face, though.
Bless him, he's got the beads on. He's getting into it. He's, But that was evidence that he was in New Orleans and probably having a wonderful time. Okay, so let's bring in Adam before I forget. There's nothing nothing personal from last week, believe me. But this is Adam and his waiver wire picks for this week. Let's see what he's got to say. If you want to tinker with your fantasy team, looking to add some last minute players, we're approaching half an hour to go towards kickoff. Here's Adam for you and some tips.
Hey Bengals fans, I am back once again like a renegade master with some waiver wire pickups for week 6 of the NFL season. We will dive straight in with Andy Dalton for the Saints against our Bengals. He is coming in without his top 3 wide receivers, so it's going to be tough for him, but he does have a good record against the Bengals, annoyingly. So who knows how he's going to do. One who's probably a better pickup is PJ Walker for the Carolina Panthers playing the Rams. It is a tough matchup for him, but he does have talent around him, and anyone's going to be better than Baker Mayfield has been for them this year. Running backs, you are looking at Eno Benjamin and Keontae Ingram for the Cardinals playing the Seahawks. Seahawks defense is terrible, and these are the 2 running backs that they'll have for this week. Eno's probably picked up. I very much doubt that a rookie will be. He's going to be the RB2 and probably get more of the pass catching work, so he's probably one to look at. Another backup taking advantage of injuries to his teammates is Deion Jackson for the Colts against the Jags. Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines are both out, and when they were out the other week, Deion Jackson got most of the carries over Philip Lindsay, who just joined the team. On to wide receiver now. Jacoby Myers may be available. He's for the Patriots against the Browns. He had over 100 yards with the rookie quarterback last week, so he's got a decent matchup. He might be able to do something. Alec Pierce is one that I like to mention. He's playing the Jags as well for the Colts. He's been doing really well, obviously, a Bearcat. So I'd imagine a lot of us know about him. And Michael Gallup maybe not picked up due to his injury at the start of the season. He's back for the Cowboys, although they do face a very tough challenge against the Eagles with Cooper Rush, the quarterback. Probably not the best bet. Deandre Hopkins, have a quick look for him. He was suspended to start the season. There's a small chance if you're in a pretty poor league that he might be available, but who knows. At tight end, I am looking at the 2 tight ends in our game, actually. Hayden Hurst should be available. He's not been picked up too many places, and he's scoring a few touchdowns. And then Taysom Hill, a tight end, quarterback, whatever he is, he does work. He does well. I don't think he'll have a huge game against us because obviously the surprise is gone now. And I'd imagine the Bengals have been planning for him all week, knowing that the wide receivers probably aren't going to be there for the Saints, but we will see. And then defenses, I am looking at the Eagles versus the Cowboys. The Cowboys have done well against poor offensive line teams and poor defenses. The Eagles have got one of the best defenses in the league. They are ranked 3rd in NFL scoring. And I think against, again, a backup quarterback, I think they're going to do well. Hooday!
Thank you to Adam there. Philip Lindsay's an interesting character, isn't he? Undrafted free agent and then had a fantastic rookie year with the Broncos. 1,000-yard plus season. He's just kind of bounced around now, isn't he? I don't know. Just thinking aloud here while we give you our predictions for today. Ceiling Cat says 24-21 Bengals. Eli Apple pick 6 of Andy Dalton. Can you imagine that? The interesting thing, I did the Ravens. Went on to the Ravens podcast a few weeks ago in the lead up to the Bengals-Ravens game, quite obviously. And they wanted to talk about Eli Apple quite a lot. That took me by surprise, really. It's like, what? Eli Apple?
Eli Apple wants to talk quite a lot as well.
Well, and he does talk quite a lot himself, and that seems to be of interest to other fan bases, But yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's not, us Bengals fans don't really take much notice of.
He's not let us down this year. You have to say that.
Well, no, my argument to them was, as a player, he's actually been really, really good for us.
Yeah.
Right, just go over your prediction once more, Jamie. What did you go for? Because I've forgotten.
Oh, crikey!
Well, you have breakfast, let alone.
Yeah, you went 27-17, so I had to up mine, and I think I went 34-14, which feels a bit optimistic, which is against my personal brand at the moment. But yeah, we'll go for it. Yeah, we're gonna trash them.
I mean, if they play up to their potential, and they started slicing teams open again like they did last year, and I'm not talking like huge 70-yard touchdowns, but just moving the ball with relative ease, down the field, hot knife through butter and all that kind of stuff. I mean, this feels like the kind of game that they could go off if things start to click. And but we've been saying that for the past couple of weeks. We thought the Steelers might be. We thought the Ravens was going to be tough, always going to be tough. The Cowboys, I don't know, man. I don't know. But I'm just saying this could be a game where we go off if they get it together.
Yeah, we need play calling that's not kind of reminiscent of Madden 2000. And once we get that, we'll be well under the way.
There we go. And as you say, there's a stretch of winnable games coming up. We've got the Falcons next week. Just to say, there will be there might be a tailgate next week. But there is also, more importantly, if you're watching out there in the UK and you want to go to a meet-up, if you want to go and watch the Falcons game with a bunch of other Bengals fans, we're going to be at the English Lounge pub in Manchester, upstairs in the English Lounge pub in Manchester next week from around 5:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30, that kind of time. So if you fancy coming along to one of our meetups, we'll be in Manchester next week. We're looking to squeeze another one in before Christmas somewhere, but certainly next week, the English Lounge in Manchester. So if you're in the Northwest or if you want to travel up to Manchester for an evening, then please do so. Check our social channels for all the details. But we'll see whether there's a tailgate next week. Anyway, Falcons next week, Browns in prime time the week after, and then, of course, the Panthers. So 3 certainly winnable games, and then it's the bye week. So this is the stretch that could kind of set us up for the, on paper, very difficult last part of the season. Right, a huge thanks to Freak Base. Wasn't it incredible? Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Jamie, it's a Who Day from me.
It's a Who Day from him.
And we will see you soon. Enjoy the game. Nathan and I will be back with the podcast tomorrow night. But for now, Who Day and enjoy the game.